Greetings, my brothers and sisters. This is Black Light. We're going to jump into this real quick. I want to ask this question to y'all. If a woman is married to an abusive man, and every day he goes upside her head, puts his foot in the ass on a daily basis. Now, should that woman keep going to shelters and then coming back to that man? Should she plot to kill the man next time he put his hands on her and she take him out and holler self-defense? Or should she separate from that man? And if that man comes after her, then she calls self-defense. I believe myself that's the better remedy. But I believe, if you can't get along, you just be alone. If you can't get along, just be alone. Go for self, independent, and that's it. For 400 or 500 years, the black man has been lied to, abused, misused, confused, and what they're trying to do now is turn this so-called democracy, because see, the majority will be black people in the USA pretty soon. What they call minorities will be the majority. So they got to hurry up and switch the game over to dictatorship. And that's what they're doing now. They're controlling everything, your freedom of speech, so you won't give nobody no ideas on these YouTube and Facebook. They might try to control this. Now, this is why they messing around with your stimulus money. They want you to beg for cheese, get on your knees and beg for cheese, see? And so now the stimulus check, they're going to give you they want to give you a mandatory vaccination. So we want you to hear this right quick.
There will soon be a new vaccine for the coronavirus pandemic. The question is, are these vaccines safe and can the government force you to take them? When it comes down to lawyers, they itch for things like this.
1 in 40 people get seriously injured by vaccines. It's not hypothetical.
If you're right, why wouldn't it follow that the flu shot should be illegal?
CDC is a vaccine company. They are not doing their job as regulators.
We don't know what COVID-19 vaccine will look like.
Anthony Fauci put $500 million of our dollars into that vaccine, and now they've got a vaccine that is too big to fail.
Would you urge the American people not to take the vaccine?
I'm not anti-vaccine.
I am asking you the question. What if it was 1 in 1,000?
No, of course not. I'm not going to tell 1 in 1,000 people to die.
I think you overstate it.
Look at the vaccine inserts, Alan.
Masks work.
We're going to kill all these people.
Mandatory vaccination.
We're still going to make a profit, so let's go ahead.
Certainly anybody who runs a pharmaceutical company cares deeply about not killing people.
You can't sue them. There's no discovery. There's nothing. They never get caught.
Do you wear a mask personally?
The flu shot not only primes you for flu, but it primes you for coronavirus. They are unavoidably unsafe.
So look, we've invited a lot of different doctors to want to come and debate the topic of COVID-19 vaccine, and everyone's turned it down. But when it comes down to lawyers, they itch for things like this. So it's a different story when we're talking about my two guests today, who, by the way, both of them have been a guest on Valuetainment before separately on different topics. But today, conversation came up this week. A video popped up about what Alan Dershowitz said that led to a dialogue with Robert Kennedy. And then we said, what if we can set up a friendly debate here together? They both agreed. And so today's a special episode. We'll talk about a lot of different things. But prior to going into it, if you don't know who...
The third stimulus check, there are new details on when the checks are going out, when the total amount will be going out to everybody, who's qualified for them, and there is actually some new information on the new updated minimum wage. They're going to be bumping that price up, and they're bumping that up just a little bit. It's going to be a good price.
House of Representatives is going to vote on legislation to provide $1.9 trillion in new coronavirus relief. It's on Friday. Yolande Moy joins us with the latest from Washington. Good morning, Yolande.
Well, good morning, Joe. The version of the bill that the House is going to vote on does include that $15 an hour minimum wage, but it's still an open question of whether this is going to fly over in the Senate. Today, Democrats are going to try to convince the Senate parliamentarian that the increase in the minimum wage does belong in the COVID relief package. And the argument they plan to make is that raising the wage can actually reduce the deficit by a lot. An analysis from UC Berkeley found that a $15 an hour wage could lower the deficit by $65 billion a year.
New numbers from the U.S. Census predict within 25 years, non-Hispanic whites will be in the minority in America. In 2019, the census reported a little under 40% of the total U.S. population was either non-white or Hispanic. In the last decade, the number of deaths for non-white Hispanics got bigger, while the number of births got smaller. Meanwhile, the consensus also found that the majority of people under 16 are either not white or Hispanic. The Pew Research Center found from 2000 to 2018, 109 counties across the country went from white majority to non-white. Currently, 60% of the U.S. population is white. Here in Tampa, the census reports 44% of the population is white, 24% is black, and 25% is Hispanic. The Pew Research Center also found in 2019, 1 in 5 people in Florida were over 65, but the latest census shows those numbers are decreasing.
See, this is why they are dividing and conquer. They want to say Hispanics. You got some black Hispanics, but they're not going to count them as being black. So this is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said we are the original Asiatic black man. We own the whole planet. We are all over the planet. We speak in different languages and living in different cultures, but we come from the same source. The Caucasian is the only unnatural being on this planet. So he divides and conquers. Another thing he's going to do now is you're going to be living into martial law. It's going to be a dictatorship. So Stevie Wonder says he's moving over to Ghana. But what if you ain't got the money? Pretty soon they're going to put a block on your action on catching planes, going elsewhere. You're going to have to take a vaccination and have papers to show that you took the vaccination. But suppose you can't afford to do none of that. It's going to be mandatory. So this is why they slowing down your stimulus money. Seems like your landlords will give you a break. Seems like the utility companies will give you a break. Since they know it's a pandemic. But they going up in prices. So when is the black giant going to wake up and know that he's, like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the original Asiatic black man, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe, black light.